Hi.
Hey! Hi, everybody, and welcome to our weekly Sunday show, Let's Talk Pop. I almost did the roller derby thing and said Abraham Lincoln, but I'm actually me in the show, so I am Dara. Today I have a guest on, which is Tiana Tucker, who is the greatest and also my high school, best friend since freshman year of high school. So a weekly friend on the show. Last week we had Devin on the line, and this week we have Tiana. Tiana is an expert in weird pop culture shit. Like obscure. One time, this is the story where I try to explain your pop culture knowledge, is one time I went to get a haircut at like Floyd's barbershop. which is like a chain. Oh, the cat is yelling in the other room because I closed the door. So I might let her in a second. You might see me, my pajama bottoms. But I was sitting next to Kaylin Blue, and I realized that only one person in the world would know who I was sitting next to. And so she's the one who got the call where I was like, Kaylin Blue, who was in Dead Like Me and Princess Diaries too. So some just like obscure shit. But yeah, so welcome, Tiana. We're going to talk top 3 lists today. We have specific ones. I'm sorry, here's my pajamas.
Ooh.
Let the cat in. Yeah, pajamas.
Ow.
And now you have a cat on the spread. If you're gonna come in the room, you get to be famous. So I'm a normal person who's just showing off my cat now. Yes, you loved him in Dead Like Me. Thank you, Karen. Don't deprive that cat of pop culture. We can't. Look at her. She's a gosh darn model. Tiana's allergic to cats. So,
but this is how I have to experience them, through the screen.
She's technically hypoallergenic because she's bougie. But I don't know what that actually means.
I'm also technically hypoallergenic because I'm bougie.
That's true. That's an accurate description of you. Hypoallergenic. No one can be allergic to Tiana. So before we start talking about a lot of pop culture, I also think that it is fair to plug the fact that you are a ceramicist and do amazing work and have a website and are a great artist. Means she lacks one enzyme in her, not Tiana. Well, maybe Tiana. That's the hyperallergenic. The comment is, it means she lacks one enzyme in her spit. So we're going to say that that's what, anyway. Tiana is a ceramicist and has a store, and you can buy her amazing work, and she is absolutely incredible. If you remind us, I might have someone try to put your, one of the mods, if I can find it, put your website in the chat and send some people to buy your amazing products because you're incredible. Anything you want to say about your ceramicists?
I do a lot of drawings on them. So if you like little naked devils, or everyone does, or bones.
I was like, if I have a picture, I'll show it to the computer.
Bouquets of happy faces. That's my deal.
You do some good. You're incredible. So Tiana, obviously, like if I say we went to high school, I know that my parents have a drinking game that every time I say that I went to arts high school on the show. So you can all take your drink, but you're not going to be able to see this because I am, of course, got a million lights in my studio right now. Oh yeah, show us work. Show us work, and then we'll talk about pop culture because I feel like a lot of your work is steeped in culture and art counts.
Okay, we have happy faces.
Oh, incredible.
And we have, here's a naked devil.
Look at that butt.
Look at that butt.
Look at that butt.
Well, that was a droopy butt. That's a good butt. And I got little goblets. Yeah.
That is, you're incredible. So do your best, Vanna. So Tiana's a ceramicist and she lives in New York, just like me. And we still haven't seen each other because, well, we saw each other kind of for an outdoor distance drink a month or two ago when it wasn't freezing. And
there was a dip.
There was that dip where there was like very little numbers, and now we're both we're both smart again. So not seeing humans, which is a bummer, but it's good because we're being safe. And when we look back at this time, we can say that we were making choices that didn't make us embarrassed when we are older. I also wore my purple lipstick because I went full purple mode today. So we decided to do weird top 3 lists because why not? And I think that this might be a format that I do going forward on this show because I've been trying to figure out what this weekly show is going to look like. And so top 3 lists feel like just the right number for us to have conversations about stuff, and we can pick weird things. So if you have a top 3 thing that you want us to talk about on the show, please send it through the chat or the Twitters, and that would be awesome. Other fun plugs, Pop Culture Co-op is now a Twitch affiliate, which is fucking cool. Yes, goals. So that also means that like you can, we have a PayPal, so you can like send some dollars via PayPal if you're like really into us and want us to be able to keep going. And you can subscribe, or subscribing is like, you can subscribe for $5. You can gift subs in the chat. I mean, whatever. You can also do bits and cheers now, which is super exciting. So if we're saying something you dig, you know, you can put some fun stuff in the chat and have a good, exciting moment. But make sure you're participating and throw some bits and the cheers our way so that we can keep bringing you cool content. We have a huge week coming up. Like, there's so much content. So follow us. Following us is free, but it helps us to have the numbers. So if you're into this and you want to follow, I feel like most of the people today who are watching are already members of the co-op. So, you know, I'm preaching to the choir here. So we have some top 3 lists. The top 3 lists that we are going to talk through today are movies that could use an like that, as opposed to the normal movies that should not be adapted again. And why do they keep remaking this movie over and over again? Movies that could use an adaptation and should be redone. Worst American accents, weirdest sex scenes, and should have ended after season 2, but we kept watching anyway. And liking it, even though like we know it should have ended, right? So if you have any of your tops in this, please share it with us. But we are so excited to, this is my brain. This is my brain on words. Start talking about weird lists. So let's start with movies that could use an adaptation. Do you have this was one of yours. So did you have something in mind that like really spurred you on?
Okay. I've been talking about this with my roommate, and the movie that inspired this was because I had been saying, I think we have too many adaptations. Why do we need to have all these like new versions of bullshit? And she was like, what if that could be a good thing? What if we can explore new things? And the movie that inspired that was The Matrix. Yeah, where it's not a bad movie. It's just, what if we could update that for now? What would that look like? And if we brought in a different actor so that like Neo has a personality, does that change
I'm
things?
sorry. Is there Keanu slander on their show?
I love Keanu, but the character has no personality except for being Jesus. and I don't know if he needs slander. I don't know if he needs, I love Keanu.
And we could like lean into the trans allegory a little stronger, maybe
exactly.
Get a trans,
and actually
like a trans actor.
Yes, or have them actually go with the original idea of the humans being a neural network and not batteries, fix the things that the production company ruined. So that could be a fun thing to adapt, right? And then you have to think about a whole
different way with this, but yes, keep going.
Well, also you could have like, so it's not the 90s anymore, and they won't wear all leather. So like, what happens with like, what is our fashion like thing that we're going to bring in? Is it going to be normcore Matrix? I hope not.
Can it just be all leather still? Because that was hot. I feel like that was an awakening for people.
It could be all that, but it may be like, maybe it's
vegan leather in 2021. Mom jeans.
I was gonna say,
Pam put mom jeans in the chat.
Leather mom jeans, very
leather
sexy.
Mom jeans. That would be really some good paper bag waists, just so that I feel comfortable.
Or leather jumpsuits.
Like, leather jumpsuit, very 2021. Like, some romp hymns,
mm-hmm.
rompers, but all leather, so that we look like, thank you, Mom, for gifting tier 1 subs. Keep gifting those subs to the chat.
It takes place right after the pandemic. So everyone's like, I actually got really into sewing my own leather one pieces. So this is my shapeless homemade leather one piece.
Bitch, you're only saying that because you got really into sewing your own clothes.
Maybe.
Maybe. I did not get into sewing my own clothes. I got really into just leaning into pajamas as everyday clothing. Okay, I'm really digging this, like, what fashion trends would we update in 2021 to work? Like, there'd be so many cool masks, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Which would still work with the original Matrix, because I feel like that would work in that club from the first part of the movie?
Yeah, put them fun things in the chat. We have a little champagne glass that you can put things in, and then it like fills up. Leather masks, yes, I'm very into the leather masks. I found I was gonna do like a weird Halloween vampire costume this year and like maybe go out, but then I just didn't because I felt weird going out on Halloween because of pandemic. But I had like all these masks I found online that had like spikes and shit, and I was like, yeah, but so they exist. I feel like that'd be I definitely went a different route with what you meant by movies that could use an adaptation. And I was thinking movies that like I thought like were a good concept but badly done.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I'd be interested to see them redo it. And I just did a weird, I hate to like on my Twitter that nobody follows because I'm not the best tweeter. But I just tweeted out a movie review of this movie I watched yesterday. So people who've talked to me since yesterday and have gotten to hear this rant, I apologize. I watched this movie Resistance, which is a Holocaust movie. Stay with me. Don't leave me yet. About Marcel Marceau, the mime.
I didn't know where that sentence was going. I didn't think it'd go there.
Here's the thing. Do you know who they hired to play Marcel Marceau, the mime?
I'm guessing someone loud. The way
Jesse Eisenberg. The French mime Marcel. Also, so in real life, the thing that's cool about
that was my Jesse Eisenberg.
This should be a story because it's super interesting. Because in real life, Marcel Marceau, when he was 16 years old, was part of the French resistance and helped a bunch of orphans, like he's Jewish, and he helped other Jewish orphans whose like families were killed by Nazis escape through the Swiss Alps. Hundreds. Thank you, Papa Hamiway subscribed. You better have. I would have been real mad if my parents didn't subscribe to the channel. But like, so the reality of the story is that a 16-year-old boy who had been studying mimery and clown work, like a 16-year-old Jewish boy in France, joined the French resistance and like saved a bunch of Jewish orphans. The movie that we got, which came out in 2020, was a 36-year-old Jesse Eisenberg playing a French mime. His accent was so bad. It was like a guy from Queens with a speech impediment.
Oh no.
It like came and went.
Oh, I heard playing a French mime.
He played a French mime. He played Marcel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He played a French mime. He sounded like a guy from Queens with a speech impediment. Just like the worst French accent you've ever heard in your life. Like this neurotic Jewish guy, which like fine. It's like Woody Allen playing Marcel Marceau. Like, I'm sorry. And like, he's not good at miming. None of the miming. I'm sure he just disappeared into the role. Yeah, totally embodied Marcel Marceau. In the end, he does like a full mime act, which is real in reality, in the real world. Marcel Marceau's first huge performance was for all of the American troops at the end of World War II. And then he went to mime school. So in reality, he was like 18 maybe, and then went to school for this. Mm-hmm. But what we saw was a 36-year-old Jesse Eisenberg poorly mime for like 5 minutes, a story that I did not understand, with like swelling music while the like American like troops are like really into it. And I was like, what? So I feel like if it's a movie that could use an adaptation, I would like to immediately redo this movie.
That's such a beautiful insult to a movie that's just come out. Just like, no, again.
Let's do this again. Let's start over. Let's have it be about a 16-year-old, because that's so much more interesting, like, than like a middle-aged man like joining the French resistance. Like, we've seen that movie like a million times. Like, how much more interesting is it if you have like teenagers joining the resistance, studying clownery, using their clownery, becoming a mime?
It just reminds
anyone who can embody it's just like, this is my Jesse Eisenberg as a mime impression.
That's great.
Thank you.
It's like I'm watching the movie.
Thank
feels
you
like
so
when
much.
Kevin Spacey was in Beyond the Sea. Wasn't he like in his 40s.
Oh, was that Beyond the Sea? Wasn't that Kevin Kline?
I thought it was Spacey. Is it Kline?
No, it's Kevin Kline.
I'm
and you're
not
about
going
to
to question you on Kevin Kline knowledge.
Playing Cole Porter.
I'm looking it up.
This is our lives. It's just IMDb all the time. The carnival music that you're hearing in the background is actually my neighbors. So just a heads up. They loudly play music outside, and currently they are just blasting music in the outdoors. So welcome to my life, 2020, like every minute of every day. And I don't know what to do. My windows are closed.
It is Kevin Spacey.
Oh, Devin's on. Hi, Devin. It was Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
I'm full of shit. Which one was Kevin Kline in? Oh, he was into Lovely.
Yeah. But Kevin Spacey was playing a guy who died who died when he was early, right? And Kevin Spacey was just like, don't worry about it. I can be a baby.
Wait, was Beyond the Sea? Okay,
Bobby Darin.
Okay, Beyond the Sea was Bobby Darin. The Lovely was Cole Porter, and I just they came out at like the same time. You were right. I am wrong. I am sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
But also, neither one of them should have played those parts.
I
Both of them were too old.
We should go the opposite direction. When we remake the movies, we shouldn't bring in age-appropriate actors. We should go older and older each time. And then by the time we've got an 80-year-old playing a teenager, well, it'll be like 7 Up. And every 7 years, we'll have Jesse Eisenberg play Marcel Marceau.
But as a 16-year-old during the French Resistance.
Yes.
So that is the movie, my immediate movie where I was like, this could use an adaptation because the story itself should be really cool.
Yeah.
But boo. Okay, what is your other movie that you like? So you had The Matrix. What is number 2?
Okay, I just watched the Hitchcock movie Shadow of a Doubt.
Yes, very good film.
With Teresa Wright and Joseph Cotton, which I very much enjoy. I love the whole murder, love the uncle niece, suspicious relationship. She has a whirlwind relationship with a detective that's after her uncle that lasts for 1.5 days. And at the end of it, he's like, I'm sorry about your uncle. I'm sorry he's a murderer, but I love you. I love you. And I'd like to marry you. And she's like, I love you too. And I would just like to see.
That's such a great, I'm sorry, could you do that again? I love you too.
I love you too. I've known you for 3 days and I'm 13. And
love the chat. Love the whole murder, Tiana Tucker.
It's usually my review. It's all the things around the murder.
I love the whole murder.
Love it. You don't even see the murder in this one. It's just a murder trying to be like, what old lady? What jewels? Me? No. And I just love the story, so I would love to see it redone because it's like just a classic. It's really enjoyable to watch, but it's like the family around it that I think would be really fun to see updated. And also all old movies that have romances need to be updated because they're all like 3-day things that culminate in like, sure, let's have a baby. And it's hard to watch.
We're married forever. Oh, I met you a day ago and we are going to give up our entire lives.
What, do you have a job and you're white?
Perfect.
Also, I love this movie because like there's a scene where she runs to the library and the library closes at 9 p.m. Oh, the glory days. And it's like 9:05 and she gets there and she's like, let me in. I need to see my uncle's a murderer. And the librarian's like, Charlie, I thought better of you. You crazy girl. The library 5 minutes late. Are you mad? And she like runs a red light and she gets to the library late and everyone's like, she's crazy. Clearly she's going through an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
It's so Pleasantville. I would actually love to see it updated and keep the Pleasantville of it. That would be really fun.
I really enjoy you reenacting these movies, honestly.
Maybe
it's 5 minutes late and you're closed. You're amazing. I already knew you were great at this, but I'm dying. Also, Nerd Derby thinks that Reefer Madness would be a good update. They did that, didn't they?
They did that, and when we were in high school.
Yeah, but they should do it again because I don't remember it. I don't think it was very good. I'm about to blast like a whole entire genre basically as my next one because I was gonna say, Tiana, your Mid-Atlantic enunciation is great. You're getting some
Thank
props in the
you.
chat. It's accurate.
you.
She's incredible. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I will give
thank
up my
you.
whole life for you now. I'm not as good at it. They did it as a musical, the Reefer Madness update. So I was going to say Wonder Woman 84 would have been a good, again, I was just insulting and like, let's redo these movies that just came out.
You're just saying the state of movies right now is not good.
No, there's so many good movies right now, but Wonder Woman 84, which we already had a full episode on how bad it was, could be redone better. But also maybe just all of the DC movies except for Birds of Prey should be redone. And really, I fell on like an Aquaman rabbit hole where like Devin is upset because she missed the entire like Jesse Eisenberg thing, although she was there while I was texting her live watching it being like, what is happening? But like Aquaman is one of those movies that like they couldn't figure out what they were doing with that movie. And so at one point there is an octopus playing the drums, and also like there's crab bad guys that they never talk about again. And like I had a lot of like I could do a whole episode on Aquaman being like the most bananas backwards movie I've ever seen because like parts of it were very fun and parts of it were just like absolutely bananas. But I just really have issues with the fact that like half of this movie was about like, hey, we're against global warming and like pollution and shit. And then half the movie was like the Little Mermaid where like there are octopi playing the drums, and the first like 5 minutes of that movie I was in the theaters and I started laughing because like it's Nicole Kidman, right? Yeah, Nicole Kidman comes out and she's like, the rain, you can't, the thing underwater, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm not as good at this as you are, like you can't see it when I'm crying. What? I mean, I guess because you're wet, but like what the ever-loving shit. Aquaman would have been better if it had been worse. I 100% agree with that. And Bullshies, I enjoy Batman series, but like superheroes need to be less spoiled rich boy with attitude issues. I agree.
Which is why Harley Quinn was so good.
So good. Birds of Prey forever.
Yeah.
But like, they just really need to like, the sea washes away our tears. That was the line that I started laughing, crying in the theater. And it was like 10 minutes in. They just didn't know what they were doing with it. And it was like bothersome. And like, so a lot of the DC movies, I think the issue is that they go into it without deciding what it is first.
Yeah, no tone.
Like, are we going to be funny? Are we going to be serious? Are we going to find that sweet spot that Marvel has done a good job of like being in between both of those things? Right. But that's a really hard sweet spot and you have to be ready for it from day one. And Aquaman felt like for 50, and this is the same with the Justice League movie, which like obviously it makes sense because they brought in a whole nother person. But like 50% of that movie was funny and fun and like had that like tone change. And then 50% of it was so serious. And we are talking about superheroes. Stop taking it so seriously. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I feel like they should go full silly with it.
Yeah.
Because all their serious stuff has been so up their own butts and very gray.
Very gray. And then when they do when they I'm an adult. When they do, I'm going to do it again. When they do the colors, it's like they do the colors. It's just like a perfect sentence. When they do it, they do it.
You just keep doing it.
It's fine. This entire episode is going to be an hour of me just going doo-doo.
It's going to be you saying doo-doo into two mirrors into infinity.
Doo-doo. Cool. What is your third? I love that we're like a half hour into the show and we're only through one list. What is your third movie that you think could use an adaptation?
Wild Wild West.
Fuck off. No, never. You knew it. I saw your face. I love that your face was like, she's going to be mad.
Okay, I love Wild Wild West.
It's like my favorite movie.
But here's the thing. Making a new Wild Wild West doesn't get rid of the old one. Mm-hmm. It just brings you another opportunity to have a great time. And, I think
What would you like in an adaptation of Wild Wild West? And can Kevin Kline still be in it?
Kevin Kline can still be in it, yes. Will Smith can also still be in it. I would also be okay with new casting and having them play a cameo as their dads or something.
Just do it again. The chat is just the same movie. Just do it again. Who would star?
I don't know who would star, but here's what I want different. I want a better understanding of race.
Fair.
Fair. Little less bad. And maybe the bad guy can be a little less queer coded and a little bit less of a evil disabled. And then keep all the fun stuff and all the steampunk and give Salma Hayek a better role where she isn't a pawn until the end, like something to be pawed over. And give her like a better plot, because I think all of that would make a already very fun movie into a very good movie.
Okay, right? You know what? Yeah, fine. I'm very fair.
Thank you.
Obviously, those are good points. Keep the theme song. Make sure that Kevin Kline and Will Smith are still in it somewhere, and Salma Hayek. Honestly, just redo the whole movie from the start. They all look great still, and just fix those issues while doing that.
Right.
Just rewrite it and keep the same cast.
There you go.
That's the dream.
Because I feel like a lot of my favorite movies as a kid, I still love. And then I go back and I'm like, oh, that's why I have that issue. Thank you. Thank you, writers.
I think that there's a lot of Western, like somebody said Young Guns and Lone Ranger.
I have so many Westerns on this list.
This list is Westerns. Yeah. Cause I didn't even broach Westerns because so many Westerns could use updates in which they are thoughtful about things like, I don't know, race and sexism and misogyny and
American exceptionalism and expansionism.
American exceptionalism and expansionism.
I love Westerns so much. Like my dad, he loved Westerns and he just made us love Westerns. But I would love to see, Black and Latino cowboys. I would love to see Native Americans.
You mean like who were actually the cowboys?
Exactly. And I would love to see Native Americans starring in their own stories, and especially anything that is the last of starring in actual Mohican. I don't know.
What?
Well, if I never see another exceptional white guy in the middle of a tribe of ethnic people he is not a part of again, it'll be too soon. Not women being kidnapped and being the MacGuffins the whole time, or I think it'd be really great because I love Westerns, and I think that it's not a dead genre. It's just a genre that needs to be revitalized with the viewpoints of people who love it, So
I agree. I also think that one of the interesting things with Westerns are the Westerns that are now doing a good job take place in space. Things like, I would consider The Mandalorian a Western. I would consider Star Trek a Western.
Oh, I thought you said there was a Western called The Place in Space. And I was like,
The Place in Space. Oh, we're writing that. Yeah, but I think the ones that are getting a good job are in space, and I think that's great. But I also think that there is a discomfort in my head that good Westerns, in order to hit all of the things about exceptionalism and race, have decided they can't do that on this earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Firefly, as my dad is saying. And yes, but why do we have to be in space to get those things right, as opposed to on earth? That is a really good call. On that note, I will say my third movie that could use an adaptation, Devin is going to die in the chat, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
No, it's perfect. It's fine. Move on.
As in terms of exceptionalism, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is obviously a lot of white people playing Asian characters. Oh yeah, there's now a whole track conversation in the chat, which Devin, I will let you.
I'm saying this.
I will let you do that. Jump in. Devin can handle that for me, because I want to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a cartoon that I just watched this summer over because I'm not a cartoon person, but certain people got me to watch it. Sky Bison. Very exciting. A whole lot of it is really well done. The cartoon is incredible. I watched Avatar. I watched Korra in one good week. I watched it all and I cried my way through it and I loved it all. And there is supposed to be a live action Netflix Avatar, which apparently will be better But
hard to be worse.
It's hard to be worse than M. Night Shyamalan being like, you know who should play all these characters? White people who are not great actors. And then Dev Patel, the only like East Asian person playing the bad guy. Although like, obviously, if you watch it, like bad guy. Pre-redemption arc bad guy, not to give away things, in an entirely Asian universe. Yes, absolutely. So it's just like super uncomfortable to watch a bunch of white people do like very Asian things. I am concerned because, as Devin said, the original creators pulled out of the Netflix remake. But honestly, will anything be better? I think maybe anything is going to be better than the movie that was made. And I think we could do a better job.
On that note, just to piggyback onto yours, not as high stakes, but I would also like to see it made better. Dragon Ball Z.
What, you don't like? What's his name? Justin?
You know what? Maybe even don't redo it. Find some way. Just find a way to erase that version. Like either make another one that's better or just destroy that version. Either way, I'm good.
I think that's fine. I was never into Dragon Ball Z as a cartoon either, but that's, I think, on me.
I loved it, but I rewatched it a couple years back when I was back home. My brother and I used to watch it every day after school, and we were just watching it like, how did we, like, I don't think that this television show made our attention span shorter. I think we were incredibly patient children, because there will be entire spans of like 10-minute parts where they're just like, and then it'll cut to the other one like, and that'll just be the whole episode while you're waiting for them to fight. So a whole movie of that would be great, like fight edging.
Can you just do that for a minute? Like fight edging.
Yeah.
Fight edging, Tiana Tucker. I love this murder and fight edging. That's what this episode is.
I'm here for the catchphrases.
I'm here. Wait, one time you said something and I wish I could remember what it was. Improv is just comedy edging. Is that what you said years ago?
It can be.
I think that's what you said. And I remember just thinking, wow.
It was a specific improv that I went to where the improv troupe took about 5 minutes with each prompt to get to the funny part. And as soon as they got to the funny part, someone else would jump in and change the prompt. And yeah, by the end of it, the whole audience was like, come on, just let me do it. Just let me laugh once.
We're so close. I'm so close.
So close to laughing.
Oh no. This is I'm glad that we've marked all of our shows as 18 and over. That's not a realistic face for me. Just want everyone to know that. I mean, I don't know your sex face, so I guess that's a good thing.
I take it back. This is my sex face.
Joker 2021. I'm fired from the co-op. They're gonna take the show away from me. It's I founded the co-op and they're like, she's done. It's just like 20 minutes of me making like my face hurt. I'm gonna like get a hernia. Great. We've made it through one question of our 3 questions. Question 2 was,
are we gonna do all of them? Okay, good.
Yeah. We're gonna do. You're like, I took note. We can go late. There's no actual time frame unless you have to go. Worst American accents. This is TV or film. I'll start just because. And my least favorite American accent by a non-American actor is Christian Bale.
Ooh.
Because here's the thing. All of them, every time. Every time, because here's the thing, like people who are not American, when they do an American accent, have decided somehow. No, they make their voices really low.
Oh yeah, they do that.
For some reason, they think that and it's usually men, but like every man with every American man apparently talks down here. And I'd say it was Batman, but he does it in everything. His voice gets really low every time he talks, and I'm like, that's not.
A lot of American accents, they'll be in the front of the mouth, and you can like feel it when you're talking. And if you do a British accent, you can feel it pull back to the back of to the top of your throat. And I'm wondering if they're just not moving their voice forward when they're not.
That's
accent.
Exactly what the issue is. But like that's part of your job as an actor is to learn where it sticks. And bullshit, I love the fact that you didn't realize Bale is an American, but here's the thing.
He stays in his accent.
You're not. Bolshevik is also Australian.
Okay. That's fair.
Although he was amazing in Newsies, but that's not a real accent. He was a child, so he didn't have to worry about making his voice super low. He was like 16. He's Welsh. Thank you, Devin. Which is also like the furthest from like.
But what's his face in The Americans is also Welsh, and his American accent is perfect.
What's his face? Oh, shit. Because he's amazing. But he also did the work and knows where to place his stupid mouth. I'm sorry. He's Gloria Steinemann's stepson?
Yeah.
Tiana knows everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of people who do good ones. So my first one is Christian Bale. I think he has a terrible American accent because he doesn't place it in a different place in his mouth. And now apparently every man just talks like this.
It's true. We're all done here.
We're all done here.
So I went with Ewan McGregor.
What?
This is not
a bad one. I'm kidding.
It's so bad. It is so bad.
He's just so charming. I forgive it.
So in so many of them, like, you know, he'll do his full American accent. You'll be like, okay. But sometimes you're just kind of like, oh yes, I am from America. Thank you, Ewan McGregor. This is the American accent of all of the people. Like in Big Fish, where both he and Albert Finney are from the South. British people, when they get to American accents, they either do like their standard American from RADA, where they're like, an American. I am an American, a soldier in Britain. Or they're like, I'm from New York.
I'm a walking here.
I'm a walking here. Or they're like, I'm from the South, anywhere in the South. The whole South, all of the South. It all sounds the same, the South. And those are the three like standard bad British people doing American accents. And Ewan McGregor is just the king of the bad Southern accent. I love him for it. He's very consistent. It's the first person I think of.
That's a good one. I have Nicole Kidman as a very bad American accent, but like in a way that I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it really came to life in whatever that recent miniseries is that she was in. That was just so fucking awful, but like everybody liked it because it was content. Yeah. I literally can't remember what happened in it, and I watched all of it, and like people really liked it, and I think it was because it's the only thing on that people liked it because it's not good.
So into it, I thought for a second it was a black television show, and then I looked at it and I was like,
I'm just sick of these rich people shows about rich people being rich.
I can't watch them unless it ends with them all going to jail. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, eat them.
I would watch that. I would watch that where it starts as like a rich couple having like a marriage problem, and then by the third episode they're eaten, and you're like, oh, I didn't know you were doing that.
It's just so bad. Like her accent is so bad, and yeah, the eyes wide shut monologue. Oh, isn't that exactly what Schitt's Creek is about? Basically,
eating the rich, or
I think a little bit of all of it. A baby. That's the only thing I could say that she says because I've never been good at accents. You can ask Mr. Cohen, my film teacher, who tried to make me be an Irish maid once. No, it doesn't censor shits anymore because we actually had to set a censor to allow it to say shits.
You knew it would come up so much.
Also, if you hate the rich, Bullshy is putting in for a quick a plug that her Marxism show, Cinema and Marxism, is starting on Wednesday. So you should definitely tune in to the like Eat the Rich show on Wednesday night about communism and Marxism and shit. Wednesday from 8 to 9. I think your first episode is about American Psycho. So also to like indicate the fact that we were just talking about Christian Bale's bad American accent, you can experience it in its full glory there. So definitely join in. We have a ton.
Oh, go on.
Oh, it's the psychology of the rich and how they are evil.
Cheers to that.
I felt guilty for buying a desk today.
I took a lift.
John Malkovich is actually an American and does a horrible American accent.
That's
fucking accurate. Thank
beautiful
you.
Contribution. Beautiful.
And I love you. I'm so happy you're here, but so not two churches, but we should eat them anyway. So yeah, I really hate Nicole Kidman's accent. Who is your next person?
Okay. All right. I just watched The Lighthouse. I loved him in it. Robert Pattinson has a really interesting idea of what accents are.
Oh my gosh, it's like he's talking in cursive.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to put it. I was also
that's an internet thing. I did not make that up.
Oh, I was talking about this with my roommate Adrian, and she has come up. She wants me to credit her on this. It's the Robert Pattinson theory of accents, and it's that you come into it prepared with something, but then you let your intensity and your emotions take you to whatever part of the country you need to go. And so that is what Robert Pattinson was doing in The Lighthouse. He was doing some fun Foster Gloucester. He was doing some fun JFK. He went into a lot of small towns in the South. He got into Texas a little bit. He came right back to Foster Gloucester. There was a little bit of British. Was it a roller coaster? Yes. Did they enjoy every moment? Yes. Did they know what was going on? For so many reasons, no. And Robert Pattinson, like, refuses to get a dialect coach. Like, directors.
Why are you my favorite person in the world? Jesus Christ, that entire moment. God damn. Can you just be on this show every week and just co-host it with me? Because holy fuck.
I have so many things to say, I suppose, about Robert Pattinson. Well, like, he just refuses to take a dialect coach. Like, they'll beg him. They'll be like, please, here's more money. And he'll be like, no, I know what I'm doing. You're going to hire
me anyway.
Exactly.
The Devil All the Time is literally him talking in cursive. Absolutely. Like, I watched it just because people were laughing about his accent on the internet, and it was worth it for every minute of that insane movie. But that accent was the greatest thing that I've ever experienced. It's like he just couldn't stop chewing, and his mouth didn't know what to do.
And that was West Virginia, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to lick him. I was like, you are so weird. I want to lick you. I feel like he'd be into that. And like, not in a sexy way, just like in a, like, you are so bizarre. The only way to get through this. And they're so excited
to see this Batman.
I cannot wait for this Batman. I think it is the only time I will ever be excited to see a Batman movie.
Sad boy, Batman.
It's like I saw the Harry Potter the Harry Potter Broadway show, and the whole time I was like, sad bad dad, which is my favorite, like, stupid thing. But like, sad bad bat.
Sad bad bat.
Sad bad bat. I'm so excited about this. Like, just I don't like Batman in general, and like that's like a thing for me. So it's really hard to, except for I like DC's Titans, but that's not Batman.
I mean, is anything ever going to top Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck with his donkeys. I actually feel bad. Like, I hate the fact that people are taking pictures of Ben Affleck, like, with his Dunkin' Donuts every day. But like, at the same time, like, he really does warrant some ridicule for just being like the sad sack dude, but like for no reason. I also am like oddly attracted to him, and that feels uncomfortable. I know I'm also uncomfortably attracted
to the same person ever.
I was also like, the reason I watched all of Resistance, which I've already bitched about, with Jesse Eisenberg playing Marcel Marceau, is because I think Jesse Eisenberg is hot.
Oh, I like Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, we have one.
I don't find him hot, but I'm always excited when he's in a movie.
Yeah, like I think he's cute and I kind of dig it, but like I dig his like weird aloof, like way better than everyone else vibe. Which is maybe Robert Pattinson with the accent. He's like, fuck you, I was in Twilight and I hated every second of it, and like
I love that vibe.
I want. It's a good vibe. Like making fun of the American, making fun of every person for like watching him and being interested in what he does. It feels like we're inside the joke.
Yeah.
It's like we got invited to an inside joke.
It does make you kind of feel good that you're not a celebrity, which is something no other celebrity has made me able to feel before. You know, Robert Pattinson will talk about being famous in a way where you're like, well, I'm glad I'm broke.
And no, remember that time he put aluminum foil in a microwave while doing a cooking interview with someone? That was like 6 months ago. And then he got COVID and was out. Devin is really upset about the Jesse Eisenberg.
I did not say he was hot. Dara is sick in the head. I'm fine.
He was even weirdly hot as Marcel Marceau because they put him in like a shirt and like weirdly suspenders.
Listen
and like
to yourself. Just listen to yourself.
It kind of had like what it was like. What's the dude who used to hit shit with a hammer? That was like a comedian. What the fuck is his name?
The watermelon guy?
Yeah. Apparently my type is men in shirts. You're not wrong.
Gallagher.
Thank you, producer. I know you can't hear her, but Kate just jumped in with Gallagher.
Oh.
He's not hot. Gallagher's not hot, but he like kind of is wearing the same clothes. No, but he's wearing the same clothes that Gallagher is wearing.
You're into like striped pants or suspenders.
Okay, my last accent. We're doing great. We're definitely going past 6. I'm sorry, unless you're done. A-hole was censored. Ooh, interesting. Is Benedict Cumbersnatch.
Yeah, he was also a potential on my list. He does the.
He doesn't wear a beret. I wish he did. I'd be into that too. Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch has a bad, like, I don't have much to say about it. It's not like a fun answer, but he is terrible. He has the worst American accent.
It's
Stop
like
it.
House.
He is terrible regardless of accent, but he picks good projects that I'm into. Ben Affleck's Cumberbund. Okay, yeah. Who's your third? Or are we there? I don't remember.
My third is, well, so mean because she's so young, but Maisie Williams in the movie Book of Love.
I haven't seen it.
No one has seen it, Dara. No one's ever going to see it. It's a bad movie. But
should they adapt it immediately? Which apparently is the meanest insult that I could give a movie.
This movie was an interesting idea. It's not even adaptable.
Like, so it's not even like a good idea.
No, it's Jason Sudeikis, who I love, and it was Maisie Williams right after.
I love Jason Sudeikis.
I love Jason Sudeikis too, and I like Maisie Williams. But Maisie Williams is playing a little teen runaway, trying to build a boat in a shed with a little dog, and she has a bizarre New Orleans accent.
Great, that's the choice to make as a British person. Let's go weird New Orleans.
It sounds like she speaks a different language, and every single sentence has been fed to her, and she's saying it phonetically. But
sorry, the chat just cracked me up. I'm going to quickly go to that because they're still talking about Benedict Cumbersnatch. And they're talking about the video of him acting at Smog, which I wish we had thought about having in advance because it is hilarious. With like where he's like crawling as a dragon, and you're not wrong that like if I could trace another person, like I could trace another person through Cumberbatch. You're not wrong. Like he is very pale and transparent. He's not pretty, but like I did not watch Sherlock for Benedict Cumberbatch. I watched it because Martin Freeman's hot, and apparently he dates fans. So
what? Because I almost met him once. Someone could have told me that back in that day.
Well, he was married at the time, but then he started dating one of
That's
his fans.
fair, and I was 18, so that wouldn't have worked.
So you're probably the right age.
No.
No.
Don't make me not like him.
Boo to myself. Taking my own show away from me. Okay, so these are the so we'll go to shows that should have ended after season 2, but we kept watching anyway, because I like how specific that is.
I only have 2, so I can
Great,
go
that's
second.
fine.
You can couch me.
Okay, so the first one is Smallville, obviously.
I'm very proud to say.
Very proud that I watched every episode.
None.
Every episode of Smallville from day one. It was the first of its kind, like give it a little credit. I mean, aside from the fact that the girl from it ended up joining goddamn Nexium and becoming like going to jail for sex trafficking, which what?
Kristen Crook?
No, Chloe, the other girl. Although Kristen Crook was in Nexium for a minute and left, but Allison, whatever Allison's other name, whatever her last name is, I can't remember for the life of me. She ended up being like one of the main people. Mac, yes, Allison Mack. So she's like the top of the Nexium pyramid and like is running a sex trafficking like cult, which is really creepy. But like, let me tell you that Smallville is a very fun time, and I really enjoyed it.
That was one of those shows that I never watched because I would basically get the plot from you. Like we would carpool the next day and you would recount Smallville to me. So
but it was bad even then. That show lasted 10 fucking seasons. There was a whole season with witches in it. Why?
Well, that's the season I will watch.
Yeah. So Smallville is my number one show that should have stopped watching after season 2, but I like had already committed. And so it was also again, to be fair, It was the first of its kind, really. They hadn't really done like one of those like this is pre all the like WB shows about like early superheroes. It was the start. Karen, I'm mad because that's on my list and we'll get to
it. Okay, so I actually might have three. I stopped watching The Handmaid's Tale after the second season, or the first season,
same.
maybe. Yeah,
I stopped after the first season. It was too real.
Yeah, it was too real, and it's a kind of show that's like, oh, this is exactly the right time for this. Oh, it's too much the right time for this. Oh, you kept going? Okay. Like, I'm gonna watch
when things are too serious for me, my heart, like I was just like, I can't, this show makes me uncomfortable. See, the problem with Supernatural is I didn't watch it all. So I can't say that I kept watching anyway. I just was like, oh, there's 98 seasons of this. I watched 5 seasons and gave up.
Supernatural feels like the kind of show that even though it is over and it's canceled, like it's got a magician's assistant sort of curse on it where they're like, no, it's over. No one's being paid anymore. No one's coming to the set, but episodes keep coming out. It just can't be stopped. Yeah.
So Devin beat me to the punch in that my second choice was The 100.
Yeah.
Which is a show that was really, really, really good for 2 seasons. And yet we're like a zillion seasons in and I can't stop watching it. I need to know what happens. I've given up on it a few times and then had to go back.
You haven't finished it yet?
No. I went back because I stopped. I was like, I am done with The 100. This show is bad. And then was like, oh no, I really have to finish the show. I have given too much time and energy and love to these characters that I shouldn't love, aka I love me some Bellamy. And
you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy.
Oh, I know. I watched it. I know what happens. I finished it because I kept giving up. And then I was like, but I have to know what happens to Bellamy. I hate that in real life they're married. Like that makes me really uncomfortable for no reason other than
Clark is one of the worst characters I've ever seen on television.
But yet you texted me your entire watch of that show.
Yeah, I started watching it in in August, I think. We watched every episode up to where they were being released in real time. We watched it so much that I went to bed once and tried to go to sleep and I couldn't because they had taken my brain hostage and I just kept watching action scenes of the characters in my head. I don't know what happened.
What is your other one? What is your next one? Or did I steal one of yours?
So the one that I really feel strongly about is Killing Eve.
I have not caught up on Killing Eve, so I should just stop after season 1.
You should stop after season 1. And I know the premise is shows we kept watching after season 2, so it should stop after season 2. But honestly, season 1, they hand over the writing from Phoebe Waller-Bridge to I think Emerald Fennell, and it's fine, but it's not like good anymore. And by the 3rd season, it was a chore, and it was the only thing I did every week that I didn't want to do because I remember the first season so good.
We're in a pandemic, so if you're doing something you don't want to do, that is
it was that's
a bummer.
So disappointing. Like I would watch it with my old roommate Nicole, who bought the pink dress from the first season and the Balenciaga boots that she wears in that episode with the pink.
Of course she did.
We would sit down and watch it and she would be in the flouncy dress being like, come on, be good.
I want you to be good. I will you. But I'm also like Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Promising Young Woman was yikes.
I haven't seen it yet. And I don't know, should I wait? I don't want to pay $20 to see a movie that is getting such weird discourse.
Don't. I watched it for free and I felt like I wanted my money back.
Okay. Like I've heard things on the internet that said it was good. And then I heard so many people that said it was bad. And I have no idea if it's good or bad, but all the people I trust are saying it's bad. So I guess it's bad. Because if Alex and Devin and you all say it's bad, it's bad. Because you're all the people I trust. But the reviews are good.
It's so good.
And I'm very confused. People on the internet who I usually trust their thoughts have definitely said it was amazing. And that is confusing. Like Twitter people who I'm like, oh, I follow you. And I usually agree. Oh, no? Okay. You're saying it's good. And Devin and Tiana and yeah. So my last one, Karen already hinted at it, was Once Upon a Time, which I really only kept watching because of Captain Hook.
Who played Captain Hook?
His name is, I knew this and now I'm having a moment. Colin Donahue. Colin O'Donoghue. He is Irish. He is fantastic. He was just in that remake they made on the Disney Plus of All the Right Stuff or The Right Stuff, NASA beginning, and he plays one of the Mercury 7. And he's actually really good in that. Like, to be fair, like, he's a good actor. I did not expect him to be good in that because I had only ever seen him play Captain Hook. But like, it's so many episodes, and then they made like another, they didn't want it to give up, so they gave like another season after like half the cast had left, where they like aged people up, and it was super confusing, and I didn't like it, and I still watched it because at that point I'd like committed. And I'd also tried the Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, which was like their yeah, he is charismatic. He's charismatic. He's a charismatic Irish man who, like, in the show, like, wears eyeliner and is like so chaotic by. You know what? That doesn't surprise me in terms of like who I am as a person and what I'm attracted to.
You're selling me on this show that Dara just said I shouldn't watch.
No, you should. It's fun. It's bad and very fun, but you have to get to Captain Hook. Also, Jamie Dornan is the first season as the huntsman for reasons. Like, that show is like surprisingly good and like also terrible and cheesy and ridiculous. And I like the first 2 seasons are phenomenal. Captain Hook doesn't even come on until like the 3rd season, right? Am I lying? I might be lying. He might be in season 2. But Captain Hook, once he's on, I'm like, well, like, the show is bad now, but he's good.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go with that opinion. Don't think I
don't watch it because you don't think you can. There's a lot of episodes, but like, he's hot. I also know that like half of the reason I pick anything I watch is because he's hot. He's not allowed to be a chaotic bi, but he is. That is, it is very queer baity. Once Upon a Time. That is accurate. And like,
I'm really looking forward to the future where things are less queer baity and just queer.
Will it though? I don't trust anyone. I mean, you didn't hear me go on like a literal hour-long rant about how much I hate Miss Maisel today, but not because of the queer baitiness, but because of everybody doing a bad job.
I don't trust anyone either, but also things are better now than they were before. So even if it's incremental, sometime in the future, we might get good content.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. I only trust people. No. Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I even knew that.
Yeah, no, I love the evil queen not being evil though. That's like part of what I like about shit. Like, whatever. I know it's a thing. Did you have a third one? I thought you thought of a third one at the end.
Oh, I think Big Little Lies should have stopped at season 1. Oh no, have I frozen?
I think you froze.
Oh,
you froze. Oh no, you're back.
Well, they didn't want me to say this. I think that Big Little Lies should have stopped at season 1.
Oh.
We didn't need season 2. And I didn't like Meryl Streep.
Oh no. Is that a sentence you just said out loud? Are you going to be canceled?
I didn't like Meryl Streep in it. And I didn't.
Are you allowed to not like?
To be there. It was really nice knowing you all. Now that I'm going to be struck down from the heavens.
It's like that like SNL sketch where somebody says that they don't like Beyonce and they're like murdered.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Season 2 and like Meryl Streep stressed me out. Like, I didn't think there needed to be a season 2, just like in terms of the storyline. But then actually, Meryl Streep's character like would come on and I would get stressed out. I'd be like, that lady is the downfall of like entire societies. That sneaky, nice old white lady. Stressing me out. So I watched like 2-3 episodes and was just like, no, thank you. I can see you in the world. I don't need to watch a television show about you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, sometimes you're like, I just don't need you.
Yeah.
Like, I got you, and I just don't need more of this.
Exactly. Like, I also don't need a television show about people not wearing their masks on the subway. I also have that in my life. That's
oh my
fine.
God. See, I've talked about that a lot because I have a weekly show. So I'm sure a lot of my subjects reiterate, but like, I definitely have like an issue with like these, like, I understand that shows like Grey's Anatomy and like all these fucking shows have to deal with the pandemic somehow. but I just haven't decided what I prefer. Do I prefer the MacGyver technique of just like, and there was a pandemic. Okay, we've moved on. Or like we're gonna have 17 episodes about the fucking COVID, like just ignore it. Or like, is it the whole thing? And I love doctor shows, which is my problem. Like I watch all of them, like firefighter shows and doctor shows, like I'm in. And I just don't necessarily need to watch a bunch of doctor shows about a thing that I'm living through.
Yeah, I haven't been watching any doctor shows, so I didn't even think about that being a thing that is currently on television. But I think I think a little both, maybe.
I mean, there is a little of both. Like, I don't watch Grey's anymore because I know somebody way up the chat talked about Grey's having too many seasons, and it's just going to be on. I did like Scrubs. I loved Scrubs until obviously they did like the weird new class thing.
Yeah, the ninth.
I've also heard that like Scrubs as like a show is probably the closest to what it's actually like to work in a hospital. But as a person who is not a person who helps other people in real ways, but just wants to talk about pop culture when I'm sad, hi. And here I am. I have no actual idea, but I love Scrubs. I watched every episode of ER maybe 1,000 times. Also, Noah Wyle is hot. So I watched a lot of ER for Noah Wyle. Really, I watch shows for hot people. Like, I know who I am. Is Twitch twitchy? Kate, is Twitch twitchy? We're almost done. I mean, we're basically after 6, so now we're just fucking around. We have one more question. It might just be your internet hand. We have one more question, which is weirdest sex scenes, but both of us had a weirdly hard time with this.
Honestly, and it might just be the pandemic talking and the lack of contact, but every single sex scene I thought of, I was like, yeah, no, it's great. It's fantastic.
Just show me weird sex. I mean, I had like, we're just going to go through this. We were talking about it beforehand because none of us could think of anything, but I was like The Room, Howard the Duck.
All great. All solid. A+.
But my favorite weird sex scene isn't weird, it's hot, which is Enemy at the Gates, which I had just texted about, which is just like how much I loved Enemy at the Gates. And they have like a huge sex scene where they're like in like a Russian camp and there's 1 million people around them and they're like in war, and like it's hot, but also like no. But epically long sex scenes aren't a problem. Like that's not weird. Like I'm into an epically long sex scene. Bridgerton is co-produced by Pornhub. And Roger and everybody talking about Outlander, which like my parents tried to get me to watch with them. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not watching Outlander with you. I've already seen it and I'm fully aware that this is porn. And like, I'm not watching porn with you. It's literally like, I call it like women porn. And I'm not mad at it. Yeah, The Room is on my list. The Room is the one that I'm like, The Room has that like 30-minute sex scene for no reason. But like, I think Outlander sex is like very women positive and I'm about it. Like most of the sex in Outlander is like about women getting off. Same with Bridgerton. There's a lot of oral sex in Bridgerton, which like you appreciate.
There is. I've not seen a single minute of plot from Bridgerton. I've gone straight to what the internet told me to look at on Netflix, and then I'm out. Literally only seen sex scenes.
I think you might be right. I think that might be the way to watch Bridgerton, is just to skip straight to the sex scenes. Like just go straight to episode 6, watch that, and then turn it off.
Avoid the last one, which is some marital rape shit, and then...
Oh no, that's at the end of season 6. So you just turn it, like episode 6. So just turn it off for like 5 seconds. But like, I want, like, listen, I am lonely.
Welcome to I Am Lonely.
Welcome to I Am. So if you know of anyone who's looking for this or that, because look at Tiana, look at how cute she is. Look at how gorgeous. Look at her Mid-Atlantic.
I can't even do it anymore because I'm in hi now.
You're in
how you doing?
Hi. How are you?
Okay.
Like, I like a long sex scene as long as it's interesting. You know who had a really good sex scene? Because now we're just talking about sex scenes and shows, and at some point we'll stop talking. I'm sorry, everyone. I knew this was going to happen as soon as I put Tiana on. We were just going to get into it. Is what is the one with J-Lo and George Clooney? What was that movie?
That Out of Sight?
Out of Sight.
Yeah.
Was it Out of Sight? I think it was Out of Sight. Out of Sight has a very good sex scene with Jennifer Lopez. And George,
Jennifer.
I almost said Jennifer Lawrence, and instead I ended up becoming a disc jockey. Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo and fucking George Clooney have like a brilliant sex scene in that. And Atonement obviously is a great, the top 3 list has become sexiest sex scenes. Atonement has a library sex scene, which Bridgerton definitely stole.
I think the only things that got on my list of awkward sex scenes were ones that I watched with my parents, where you're like doing family movie night back in like high school, and then a sex scene comes on and you just feel everyone in the room be like, I shall be very still, and if no one can sense my movement, they won't know that I'm also in this room watching this sex scene.
My famous story with this, which maybe I shouldn't share, but I'm gonna, is that my grandmother, the phenomenal Rosalind Feynman, took me to see Frida in theaters. And thank God she slept through the whole movie. Because there is a very intense lesbian sex scene in that movie, which is so fantastic. But when you are next to your grandmother, maybe that's not a thing that you want to experience.
I can't even imagine seeing any sex scene with my grandma, let alone a lesbian sex scene.
With a lot of me being like, and her being asleep and me being like, okay.
My grandma actually might have seen a lesbian sex scene and been like, such good friends. That might have been my grandma's reaction.
Wait, Coffee watched The Graduate in high school, and when they had the sex scene, the teacher just left the room. That's like the greatest thing. The other embarrassing thing that I had happen is my dad's fault. And since I know he's in the chat, I'm calling him out. And eventually he's going to be on the show, and he's going to be on an episode of Let's Talk Pop with Pop, which I'm really having fun saying. So we're going to talk a lot of sci-fi top 3s.
Let's Talk Pop with Pop and Pop. You have a soda.
Ooh. I think that you should just, if you're around Sundays, I think you should just Granny was the coolest and was super cool with the fact that she was very proud of the fact later when she found out there was a lesbian sex scene in that movie, because she hadn't watched it because she was asleep. She loved to brag about the fact that she had taken me to see my first lesbian sex scene in a movie. Thank you, Devin, for joining us. We'll be done in a second. We're definitely running over, but there's no real things. I love you, Dev. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, is that in Miss Madame's class? I took my freshman year of high school. I took international cinema with Madame, who's the French teacher.
I love international cinema with Madame. French New Wave.
We watched you were in that class with me.
400 Blows, all the
400 Blows. We watched Viva Sous. We watched La Strada. Cinema Paradiso.
Tom Tickfer. We watched, what was it? The Vintage Sauces? Oh, Vintage Sauces.
Mm-hmm. And then she told us not to watch, to wait a while and then eventually watch Last Tango in Paris when you're older.
If we all should one day older.
One day older, we all immediately. So we had like a homework assignment of watching like any foreign film. And my father recommended this movie that he had seen when he was younger without really thinking about it, poor guy. And it was like something about, I can't even remember the name of it. Dad, remind me, but it was like some woman had like 7 husbands and there's like a lot of weird like ghost sex in it. And I had to write a paper on it. And I came in and the teacher was like, I'm sorry, what did you watch? It was like some Italian movie, and it was just some like lady who had sex with like these 7 dudes a lot. Like some of them were ghosts, and she's like, "Your paper says your dad recommended this movie," and I was like, "Dad." I remember that being the most awkward conversation I've ever had at school. I was like, I don't think he didn't watch it with me. He didn't even think about it. Like, it didn't even occur to him that that's what this movie was. He just remembered it was a foreign film he had seen. Donna Floor and her 2 husbands. I hear him saying 7 husbands. So anyway, look up Donna Floor and her 2 husbands. It's a movie my dad did not watch with me, but recommended for a foreign film class.
And then write a paper on it and submit it for next week.
Madame was like, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's not that sexy. I don't remember. I mean, obviously I don't remember, so he didn't remember. He just remembered it was a foreign movie to watch. There's so many. I could have just watched Run Lola Run. Everybody else just wrote their paper on Run Lola Run.
Mm-hmm.
See, more women need two husbands so they can be disappointed sexually twice over.
Tilda Swinton. There you go.
Yeah. I think about you every time Orlando comes up as a recommended movie. I still saw no problem with you seeing that. Thank you, Dad.
Orlando now, because I met Billy Zane, is whenever I think of Orlando, I think of meeting Billy Zane in the sock store that I worked in. He bought some socks, and I was really nervous because it was Billy Zane. And then as he was about to walk away after I gave him my receipt, I decided that the cool thing to say to him would be like, "I loved you in Orlando, that movie that even you have forgotten you were in."
You know, my dream is to meet Ben Affleck so I can say that I liked him in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
We got to move back to LA.
We got to go back so that I can meet Ben Affleck and be like, remember that time you played a basketball player on the other team in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie? I loved you in that.
I don't think we should be allowed back in LA. We say
this is why we're here.
Celebrities. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I appreciate the fact that you were not always famous. I mean, he was also in School Ties. No, was that Matt Damon? Did I just fuck them up? No, I think it was Ben Affleck. Where Brendan Fraser plays a Jewish guy at a Christian high school.
It's your favorite film, right?
Yeah, totes.
Yeah.
You know, me and Brendan Fraser, it's probably healthy for celebrities' egos to be laughed at like that sometimes. I mean, I've definitely laughed at a lot of celebrities to their face.
I was not laughing at Billy Zane. I genuinely thought that was my favorite thing he'd been in.
You were like, fuck nice. Titanic, Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando.
He was in a movie with Tilda Swinton. That should have been he was an actual art film.
Yeah,
it was maybe a compliment. It was Virginia Woolf.
And then later after he left, there were these two older women in the store, and they were like, we used to be in the film industry. And I remember when Billy first entered the film industry, I would always see him around set, and I would always try to get him to take me out on dates. He probably doesn't remember me. And she would describe all the ways she tried to get him to go out on dates, and I was like, that's just harassment. You just harassed him. No wonder he ran out the store. He probably saw you and decided to run away. Anyways, we also happened to be in a bungalow that used to be a house that he used to party in. Everything was happening in that sock shop.
He was also in The Shadow. You're not wrong. No, was it The Shadow? Phantom? And he was in Phantoms.
No, it's The Shadow Knows, right?
Right? Dad, tell us if we're right. Or Tiana, if she's right. But he was also in No. Was he in Phantoms? Am I having yeah, he was in Phantoms, but I only know that because I watch Kevin Smith movies. Things I know from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yes. The Shadow. Big exclamation point. Thank you, Alex. And yes, I have Howard to the Duck. I know I quickly mentioned it. He was in Phantom. Yeah, look at him. Look at him in that. Look at him in that outfit. Thank you, Tiana.
I want to see that outfit and the Zardoz outfit in a movie together.
Zardoz. So I feel like at some point we should end the show because we're way past time.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all joining. Don't forget to subscribe and follow and share. We have a lot of really cool programming coming up. We have a show tomorrow with Alex, who's in the chat, which is a gaming show, similar in dumb freaking movie. I'm glad that you used not a swear word, Dad. You could just say fuck. I have. This isn't the Gotham channel. You won't get in trouble. We're rated R. But tomorrow's show is D&D stuff. That was the way we're playing Roll for Shoes. I have no idea what that means, but I think I'm on. I think I signed up to be in this, and I think Ashley is also on, and a few other people. So we're going to be learning how to do some D&D. I have some die here, so I feel like I'm a real person because I did do one campaign of Dungeons and Dragons with a friend before the pandemic hit. that I gave up on because roller derby took over my life. And also I don't love role playing, but we're going to do it. Yes, I did. So I will be on tomorrow from 8 to 11 learning and trying to role play with Alex on our first role playing game on the Twitch. Very exciting. There's a bunch of us. It'll be fun and a new thing that we will figure out how to do. That is on Monday. On Wednesday is the communism and film and theory show with Bolshevik, who is also Emily. Thursday is Every Rose Has a Thorn with Stacy talking about The Bachelor and queer conversations with The Bachelor. Let me see if I can do this. I'm doing this from memory, so please be impressed with me. Friday, there are 2 shows. There is Show and Tell with Karen, who is phenomenal, and I'm dumb excited to see because she has a show with Stacy about Schitt's Creek that was last week, and also pulled an entire thing on our birthday stream about Terrence Howard currency out of nothing, and it's just phenomenal and funny, and I'm really excited. And then afterwards is Big Time with me and Ashley talking about fat culture, and this week we are talking about being sexy and fat, and we may or may not have, we're working on getting a burlesque performer to be on, and there are some pictures that I have found of my debutante. And so there's 2 shows on Friday, and then Sunday you can find me back here because every Sunday I have Let's Talk Pop. So we have a big week ahead. We're so grateful for everybody who's been following and subscribing and who are part of this because we have so much going on and so many new shows coming. And, we're still in our first month of infancy, but with all of your support, we're getting somewhere, and it's pretty exciting, and it's fun. It's really fun. So there's that. I also want to just quickly plug Tiana Tucker, who by Aunt V, plug Tiana, who has an amazing does amazing ceramics and is just generally the best. Please check out her website and buy her stuff. And you saw her do Mid-Atlantic. You saw her do lots of things. And we really appreciate you being here, and we will see you tomorrow, literally tomorrow. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Super fun being here. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Subscribe and follow and like us on Instagram and Twitter.
And like us in real life. Please like us.
And also, please like us. They like me. They really, really like me.
They do.
They like me. They really, really like me.